Welcome to Outmatched, where we help you play smarter in the game of dating and life. I'm Anna, joined by my Season 1 co-host Erick, and together we're exploring the chessboard of players and moves in today's dating world. Whether you're single, in a relationship, or here for entertainment, we invite you to grab your chess piece and take a seat. In each episode, we tackle one real-world dating dilemma, sharing unfiltered stories from our own game boards, the psychology behind the moves, and advice you can use to get ahead in your relationships. Because in the game of love, you're either playing smart to win, or you get outmatched. Choose your next move wisely. Hello and welcome to our podcast, Outmatched. My name is Anna.
I'm Erick.
And we are going to be talking about dating, life, and more. To start off with, we thought that we'd give you an introduction to how we met.
We'll
be talking about our dating experiences along the way in this podcast series. We hope it's fun and educational as well as relatable for all you out there who are dating or going through different relationship challenges. You're not alone. And we're figuring it out here with you.
It really is just, telling you all of the bumps that we've run into, and hopefully you could avoid one or two in your journey on your own. So
yeah, and hopefully our experiences help others as well. And I personally have gained a lot of value from even hearing and sharing my experiences with you, Erick. So I thought you'd be the perfect individual to do this with. So maybe we'll back up and start where we met.
Yeah. It was a singles mixer.
It was,
right.
Yep.
Specifically, I actually really liked the way that they put it together.
And it was about 4 or 5 months ago.
I believe so.
Yeah. So we've known each other for just 4 or 5 months.
And there was like a little activity. It was at a wine bar. There were a bunch of people that you had to pay for a ticket to get there, and then it was just kind of everybody's single. People are there. Go talk to whomever, be a brave little toaster and do the thing.
And then we were talking, and you just felt like a person that was very easy to talk to. I got to confess, though, I thought you were gay because you're so easy to talk to, and you had good fashion sense, like really great style. I was like, he's gay.
I believe it. For the record, I am heterosexual.
But I was a couple drinks in, so I was like, okay, I'm just enjoying myself here. I do remember that I was going to head to the bar, and I was not going to come back. And you were like, oh, I'll see you after you come back. I was like, no, if I have to buy my own drink, I'm not coming back to talk to you. And so you got my drink for me, and then we continued chatting.
Yeah, damn straight.
And then we exchanged numbers, and we learned that we were both on an exclusive dating app.
Can we name drop it? Do we?
Are we allowed to?
I think we could do whatever.
Okay.
We're on Raya, and
we've tried other dating apps too, but
Hinge and
the usuals. And it's funny that we have to still resort to creative means of meeting people with all of the options that we have available on our phones. The quality of matches and connections that you get on these dating apps, it's just not doing it for a lot of people. And I think that's why there's been a surge of interest in real life events.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why we both ended up
even just an alternative to the apps. Anything. Yeah. Like anything that's like less creepy than like walking up to someone at a grocery store while they're in the middle of picking out cucumbers.
And honestly, there is value in meeting people in person, also just to validate, how their personalities are, how they look in real life. Because I've seen your dating app profile. I would not have swiped on you. No offense. You're a fantastic person. But just even the way that you curated your dating app profile, I would have missed you in my life. And over the last 4 or 5 months, Erick has become such a trusted go-to friend, advice giver. Like, he has added so much value to my life as I've shared my continued dating experiences, even talked about some past ones with him. The insights that he has shared, and even just his emotional intelligence, his listening skills, his ability to really dive into other people's mindsets and explain how people are thinking in shoes that are very different than my own has been so value added. And it's given me just peace a lot, just hearing his perspectives. I'm like, gosh, this person is adding so much value in my life. We also just, hang out. We do fun things together. We found all these additional things that we both enjoy for hobbies. And I would have missed out on that had I just been relying on dating apps And had I just been thinking going into these speed dating events or singles events, the only reason I'm here is to meet someone that I could potentially sleep with or have a romantic connection with. If that's the mind frame that I were going into those events with, I would have missed a really great connection that I hope will be a life connection.
Thank you for saying all that. That's very kind and very flattering. And I will say that flattering will always work on me, thankfully. And yeah, no, on it. Can we swear? Can we swear?
I think we might get flagged.
Flag? Yeah. Okay.
Let's be safe.
Okay, let's be safe.
Let's be PG. In case there are any minors listening to this.
You're a god-dang force to be reckoned with.
Okay, how about you just swear? It's better. I can't decipher these. My ears can't handle that. Just say what you're going to say.
You are a fucking force to be reckoned with. It is so fascinating, our different philosophies on dating and our perspectives and what we want and so on and so forth. It has been a pleasure to just have the opportunity to understand another perspective, which is something personally I love hearing. I'm a high context. I love stories. I love that kind of stuff. But in any case, we met. I was like, she cute. We'll talk. We'll do the thing. We'll see what's up. Right. I would say that me as a cis het man am really building myself up for rejection. I think it's important that men in general get very comfortable with rejection. It is a little traditional, I think, to kind of expect the man to kind of lead the conversations or do the things or make the first bid for connection. But I also kind of like that there is a little formality about it. And I'm not necessarily the traditional guy, right? But I think it's important that it's as a man in, this society, to know that a lot of people are going to say no to you. And for the record, that's why often I think you see men who use Tinder or other apps where they will swipe on literally everyone because we don't know who's going to say yes. We could deal with figuring out who this person is later, if we're compatible later, if they even want to talk to us. Because that's the thing. You get to the matching stage, right? You match with them, you start a conversation, you do the things, and it's okay, well, this conversation went nowhere, or we talked once and then nothing. Yeah. And so it's for us, from my perspective, if I may be so bold as to speak on behalf of my people.
All men.
That... It's truly an experience of numbers and relentless rejection, and it sucks.
I do want to give you credit. Actually, I never thought about that. The men who show up to these singles events, they have to face rejection in person. Part of the reason why I think dating apps are so popular is that they soften the rejection for a lot of men. I think rejection is hard for people in general, but especially men who are kind of tasked with the responsibilities of leading and initiating things traditionally. I know that there's some apps out there that are trying to reverse that and get women to lead and take on the man's roles. But I didn't think about that going into speed dating events or in-person networking events, things like that, might be extra anxiety-inducing or make these men who are single, feel a little bit more vulnerable knowing that there is a strong likelihood that I'm going to be rejected or I could be rejected, and I have to handle that face-to-face with someone. In the moment, what do I say? What do I do? Whatever. So I do give men credit who show up to these events. Not that women don't get rejected, too. I mean, plenty of times that I've liked someone who didn't like me back. But I think, it's an interesting thing to think about rejection and the dating experience.
It's very awkward also to be in a space where the purpose is to talk, the purpose is to meet new people and evaluate compatibility in real time. However, it's a little awkward for me, I'm going to be honest, to talk to one person, say, what's up? I'm clearly hitting on you. This doesn't feel right. Okay, I'm just going to go to the next person. And it's just am I just going to talk to every woman here? Am I just going to budge in and interrupt somebody else's conversation? Or I remember at the event, there's this gal that was dressed, I'm going to say like a pirate.
Really?
Yeah, it was this I think it was a red or predominantly red dress, and there was some frills on it or whatever, and she had black hair, and Cool.
She came dressed up as Pirates of the Caribbean to a dating event?
She wasn't actually dressed up like a pirate, but it was very evocative to me of a seafaring wench. Okay. And I was like, well, this appeals to me. But she was talking to a guy the whole time. And like, it didn't seem like there was a lot of chemistry there. It just seemed like they were just talking to each other. She was talking, he was very interested. It seemed like she was talking to him in a manner that was like, well, here's someone, and I don't have a reason to leave, and this is fine. I see this person from across the way over by, there was a little bonfire, and I was like, do I budge in? Do I interrupt? Do I crowd around this, like, twosome, or what? I don't know. And that is something that I think the apps are great for, is you get very specific one-to-one connections and attention and intentionality.
I personally don't know if people are very intentional when they're on those dating apps or if they establish actual connections, but the hope is there.
Yeah. That's true. Though, we are kind of all there for pretty much the same flavor of reason, which is to end up in the same retiring home together, hopefully still in love.
Maybe that's your end goal.
Yeah. Well,
mine is, something else.
So I am curious. Why are we not compatible?
Oh, do we have to go into that?
Hell yeah.
Are you going to take any of it personally?
No.
I wasn't physically attracted to you.
Yeah.
I didn't sense a strong masculine vibe from you. Mm-hmm. The kind that I would typically look for or go for or naturally find attractive to me.
Yeah.
But you did feel very safe. Like, again, like, gay men make me feel safe. So I thought, I put you in a different category in my mind.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to just enjoy this conversation. Because one thing I wanted to say is that my mindset going into these is, as long as I made connections, friendship connections, and left with one new friend, male or female, that was a return on my investment. These events are usually like very little financial investment. I think we maybe paid like $35 or something, $25, $35 for it. And for each event that I've gone to, I've met one or more female friends, or in some cases, one or more male friends, and I'm not putting pressure on myself going into these events to leave these events with someone that could be someone that I date. If I just make a connection, a human connection, and feel I enjoyed the conversation, this is someone that I want to continue getting to know on just a human level, that is a success for me. So I don't go into these putting any pressure on myself, and I don't really mind talking to people that I wouldn't necessarily talk to or find attractive. I'm just thinking in my head, is this someone whose company I'm enjoying right now? If yes, continue. If no, there are so many other people around me at this event that I've not yet met. Let's keep chatting.
And I think that's a great point. So the fact that just going into the event, and that's something that I also agree with too, which is not having the expectation that if I don't meet someone that is into me or loves me or is whatever, that's not a failure. And in fact, like, I'm a firm believer that friendship is not a consolation prize to a relationship not happening. Because there are many types of relationships. There are many types of things. We are in the middle of a self-prescribed loneliness epidemic. And friendships are relationships that you have to put energy, that you have to put time into, you have to put respect into. It's not just a thing that happens. So, hearing why you are not attracted to me is not at all insulting, right? I feel very confident that it's like, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem like finding people.
Erick dates the hottest girls in town. Like, he shows me the girls that he has gone on dates with or is going on dates with, is communicating with. I'm like, you should be a talent scout. These are all incredible models. They're accomplished women. I'm like, where are you finding these girls? I want to befriend all of them. He has no problem getting women, but like, people are like paintings. Like, some people will look at a Rothko, a Mark Rothko, and be like, oh, this is not doing anything for me. It's just red and blue. That's That's it. Just some red and blue blotches. And other people look at the same painting and be like, this is brilliant. I need to spend $67 million to have this in my home at all times. So people are just like paintings to each their own.
Yeah.
But some people take those kinds of things personally, where there's like, if this person didn't like me, there must be something wrong with me. No, it's just they'd like a different painting.
You like a
That's
different thing. It's just different tastes. It's totally fine.
Nothing necessarily wrong with you or the other person. You don't have to like persuade them to like you. You don't have to change anything about your appearance. Just find someone who likes that painting that you are.
And that is an excellent point, because like if you meet someone who's perfect, but they have faith in a different religion, right? Or there's some other sort of stark difference that is a difficult thing to get over, or even a deal breaker in and of itself. You don't need to change anybody. I don't see you and your lack of attraction to me as a challenge to say, no, let me prove to you that I am masculine, that I can find a way to actually make you attracted to me, right? That's a waste of my time. That's a waste of my effort, because what's the point?
I think you have an abundance mindset. Every time that I've talked to him, like, he has no problems meeting people in real life or on apps or wherever. He's social. He makes women feel comfortable. He is easy to be in connection with as a female. And I think part of why it's just a matter of time until you find your person is that you have an abundance mindset of, so it didn't work out with this person in the dating sense. That's fine. I'll still be friends with her. There are so many other women that I have yet to meet. Like,
there's so many people.
There are so many people, and I think some people get hung up on, and I was guilty of this in the past too, where it's like, if the one person that I really wanted to like me didn't like me, I'm like, oh, mentally I was like hung up on that person. I was like, oh, well, maybe they'll change their mind. Maybe I'll just, wait. And I remember agreeing to be friends way back in the day with some people that were like, I think I just want to be friends with you. Like, still, let's hang out more. But I had that romantic interest in them, but they did not in me. And those always ended up as unfair friendships to myself. I let myself enter an unfair friendship where I knew that my intention in that friendship and my goal was not to just stay platonic. It was like, well, if only they got to know me longer, because we knew each other for such a short period of time. As they get to know me, I will prove that I'm so cool and so much more interesting than they ever imagined, and all this stuff. Like, I think going into friendships with people that you had a misconnection with that hope of maybe I'll change their mind, maybe they'll see a side of me that they didn't know and they'll change their mind about me. I don't think that those are good friendships to enter. But if both people, like you and I, like both people are like, fine, like truly, we are not trying to prove anything to the other person. We just enjoy each other's company and conversation. We both appreciate things like art or fashion and things like that. That's truly the benefit that we gain by staying in touch with each other. There is no ulterior, I need something from her or I need something from him. It's not a transactional thing. I think friendships can work out when both people have that abundant mindset of, I met a person, that person wasn't for me. There are still plenty of other people, but that doesn't mean that I need to discard this person that I just met, who I enjoyed spending several hours talking to, just because they didn't lead to the sexual relationship that I wanted or the romantic relationship, whatever, emotional relationship that I wanted. There's still value if you're going into dating with an open mind.
And I think you touched on a couple things. The biggest thing that came to my mind is that obligation is the death of your willingness to be in a relationship, even in like at least a little degree, a big degree. If you felt obligated to be my friend, why would you even be here? You would be counting down the seconds, right? And same goes for relationships. Same goes with dating. Same with anything. That if you are obligated to do a thing, there is a sense where you are just, I guess I have to do the thing. I have to go on this date. I have to go buy dinner, and I'm bitter and resentful. And resentment breeds and gets worse over time, and it leads to the death of relationships. And so when both parties opt in to a connection, that is, in my opinion, the only way a relationship can function, whether that is a friendship, whether that is your siblings or your lovers, it is whatever, right? And lovers of any capacity, friends with benefits, people who are married for decades, right? You have to go into it, and this is a little cliche, but always choosing to be a part of that relationship. because that is how you know that the other person has your best interests at heart.
And I think it's important to ensure that the other person has the same intention in the friendship, or also romantic relationships too, but in this context, just friendship. They have the same intention, truly the same intention as you. Otherwise, you will feel the stress. Like I have in the past also been on the opposite side where I've told a guy, hey, I'm not interested in you. And he's like, well, we should just be friends. Okay, sure. You are my friend. If I'm telling you as a female that you are my friend, that means that I truly don't want anything more from you. And then later on, I would feel the pressure from them or them kind of crossing small boundaries, kind of being a little flirtatious, and that would add stress to me. And those were relationships that I eventually had to completely step away from because I don't want to feel stressed by someone who's just supposed to be a platonic friend. I remember one guy, I was not interested in him, but we had exchanged Instagrams and he had messaged me wanting to get together. And I told him right away, I don't see us being a match. And he's like, that's fine. Let's be friends. Well, he was over-investing daily communication with me. Even when I would ignore his messages, message after message, it's like I could feel the pressure from him. He would still send me message after message. Oh, we could do this, we could do that, we could do that. Eventually, I let him know this is too much for me. If you want to stay in touch as a friend, we have to scale back communication to every few weeks you can connect with me or whatever. Like I had to be prescriptive like that with him. Otherwise, I'm going to feel suffocated by you. If you're truly saying that you are just seeing me as a platonic friend, you're reassuring me, oh no, I hope you're not misinterpreting my outreach in a friendly manner as something more. No, I'm not interested in anything more. But then why are you suffocating me with your presence and your invitations and all this stuff? If I was dating someone, I would be welcoming to this. Otherwise, I don't need that level of attention from someone who's supposed to be just a friend. And I did have to recently block him because he continued, even after I had told him, this is my boundary, please respect it. Oh, yeah, sure. And then he kind of backed off a little bit, but then he started back into his usual ways. I'm like, this is too much. This is not the kind of friend that I signed up for. I don't know what his intentions or needs are, but they are not the same as my needs, my communication cadence, my intentions. So to reduce that stress that he was causing me, I had to completely eliminate him from my life.
And this is a great point because you need to go into a relationship being transparent and openly honest about exactly what it is that you want. Mm-hmm. And what you are describing is he very clearly wanted something different than what he was actually verbalizing to you. Mm-hmm. And even if he did want friendship, he wanted a level of friendship that you didn't want with him, right? And so that's a mismatch. And mismatches are fine. Mismatches are okay. It isn't rejection. It's just you need to find someone that meets you where you're at. You don't need to be less. You don't need to be more. You are perfect exactly the way you are for exactly the things that you want. And you don't need to modify yourself so that you are, say, more palatable, quote unquote, right? Mm-hmm. Or more attractive to a broader audience, or so on and so forth. The more authentic you are with yourself, the more honest you are with yourself, the better you are when you're engaging with people, because you get to tell them what you want. You get to tell them why. Going back, the reason why I don't take it personally that you're not attracted to me is that, like, obviously there's more out there. I don't have a problem getting dates and what have you, but also because I don't need you to want to fuck me to be around you. Mm-hmm. And I think that there is an underlying sense in a lot of relationships where friendships and so on and so forth, where men often will find themselves pining over a woman and saying, well, if I'm friends with her, I get some level of access, and I'd rather have some access than no access. Mm. But you're still being dishonest about what you want from it. And what you want from me and what I want from you matches. Mm-hmm. And that's great. That's good enough for me. I don't need anything anymore. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. It's interesting. I asked someone who was a psychologist many years ago. She was like a therapist or something. Do you believe, based off of all the people who've come through your doors, do you believe that it's possible for men and women to be just friends? And her opinion was no, that it's not possible. But I think in this conversation, it is possible if both people truly are honest with themselves and the other person of what they are looking for. I think there's a lot of dishonesty in those friendships, quote unquote friendships, between men and women, or if you're gay, between you and someone that you would like of the same sex. I think when there's dishonesty of why people enter those friendships, it doesn't work out. And maybe
you have a faulty foundation.
And maybe maybe she has seen so many people come through her door who were dishonest with what they wanted from the other person that they agreed to have a friendship with, or the let's just be friends, or the situationship with, the gray lines with. They were being dishonest to themselves, or maybe they didn't even know exactly how to verbalize what they wanted, or were afraid to verbalize what they actually wanted from the other person. Or they were just afraid that if I don't agree to this minimal level of contact called friendship, then I lose this person altogether from my life. And I can't handle that, so I must agree to this lower form. I initially wanted to date them, now I have to be this basic friendship thing. I will accept that, sure. And I think that just leads to hardships. That's what probably sends people into therapy. That leads to hardships.
Amongst so many things.
That's because you weren't being honest with yourself and the other person about what you actually wanted from the other individual. So to make sense of your own feelings and your own wants and needs and desires, you have to go to a therapist to talk it out over weeks and months and figure out your relations with this person that you shouldn't have even agreed to stay in contact with because you were abandoning what you actually wanted. And if you're just honest, I feel like our friendship is pretty easy. Like,
it's easy.
I remember, like, he's a pretty good texter. But there was a period of time, like maybe 2 months in, I was like, oh, I'm noticing that he's not like texting back as frequently as he used to. I haven't heard from him for a while. I just checked in. I was like, is everything okay? He's like, yeah, no, I'm just going through some things. Okay. I just gave him some space. I did my own thing for a few weeks. And then we just reconnected. It's like easy because neither of us is expecting anything more than just a friendship.
In what I hear in that is taking things at face value. If you are engaging in any sort of relationship with a person and spending so much energy trying to decipher what they're actually trying to say, you are exhausting yourself. Mm-hmm. You are performing so much emotional labor in a relationship for things that should be for free, that should be taken for granted, that should be assumed, that you should assume that the other person is being honest with you, that if the other person has something that they want to bring up to you, that they say it, and that if they say that they're too busy, they're too busy. And that's it. There's no point in wasting so much extra energy figuring out what the issue is or what the actual ulterior motive is. And then another point, right, is that, if you are in a friendship with someone, but you want to date them, how do you think you're going to get there? Through coercion? Through whatever, like, you are being very dishonest about why you're there. And I think that one, as you said, only makes you disappointed because it usually doesn't work out that way. And two, it's wrong. I think it's wrong. I think that it is the wrong approach to dating because you have to go out. And we do have the luxury of being in a major metropolitan area. I don't know what it's like to date in a rural space or what have you, but you have to go into things thinking bigger picture. It should be easy. And if it's not easy, especially right away, don't do it.
I think a lot of people come into relationships, friendships, whatever, thinking it should be easy. But they don't realize that they are the ones creating the unease. Somewhat recently, I share with you an example very quickly. I'll give the synopsis of it, where I was just going with the flow, but this individual decided over a very innocuous text to create a bigger deal out of a very simple question. And he spun out, like, mentally, and then that created unease. And because he was feeling emotional discomfort from that text exchange after he escalated it from something, again, was a very innocuous question. I'll just say the question.
It's bullshit. It's fucking
I had
insane.
asked someone, do you like art museums? And that turned into a huge spiral for this individual. And then he said, we're not a match. It shouldn't be this hard to communicate with you. And in my head, I was thinking, you made it hard to communicate with you. I was going with the flow, and you created your own issues, and then you blame the other person because you don't know how to regulate yourself, how to, like, handle your own thoughts and feelings, and then you believe that it's the other person making the relationship hard when it's you. When you talked about, like, being honest when you meet people about what you're looking for, a lot of people can't do that. They can't take someone else for face value because they know they themselves don't say things that are genuine. They might be passive aggressive, they might have ulterior motives, different agendas, whatever. So because they operate that way, they assume other people do as well, and that's when there can be challenges in relationships.
And the thing about that guy in how he reacted, what he did was show you exactly how he handles conflict, exactly what he thinks of what you have to say. And knowing a bit more background, it is just, there's so much space an expectation that that guy had for your friendship or whatever was blooming there that is, one, not a good move when dating, but two, not what you were looking for. For you, right, it doesn't matter what he says, whether he thinks it's your fault or not. You already know this guy not compatible with me, because I don't want someone in my life, friend or otherwise, who's going to blow up and also blame me for blowing up. You are in control of your own feelings. And if you are overwhelmed, you have to say that. You have to articulate what you're feeling, when you're feeling it, how you're feeling it, because we're not here to read minds. And it's just a waste of time.
And I do agree with you that if both people are healthy or self-aware and expressive, they can be very easy. If you let a relationship be easy, it can be very stupidly easy to be in a connection with someone else. But if you're feeling like, oh, I need things to be easy and this person must not be my match because they're not easy, have you checked yourself? Have you read your own texts? Did you see yourself spiral like a lunatic in this text chain? No, you lack self-awareness and you think that the problem is the other person. Okay, don't have expectations of your relationships being easy if you have a pattern of difficult, non-easy relationships, because that pattern might not be other people, it might be you.
Absolutely.
If you're expecting an easy relationship, check yourself. Look in the mirror and be like, am I someone who's easy to be with? Am I someone who can get over very minor things, differences of opinion, whatever it might be? If the answer is no, and you have a pattern of having challenging relationships, figure out how you can make other people's lives easier. Because I think that's why friendships work. That's why romantic relationships work, is because everyone's looking for someone to make their life a little easier, more peaceful, more calming, more safe. And if you are someone who's bringing in that feeling of, this is someone who doesn't make my life easier, they cause me more stress than I had before I met them, they cause me more worries, more anxiety, those are signs in your body that are like, something is wrong with this equation. This is not someone that's going to be good for you to continue on in your life, keeping as a friend or otherwise. But yeah, I think the reason our friendship works is that I think we are really easy. Like
easy.
Both of us. We don't blow up at things. If we need to talk about something, we'll talk. Like, if we want to be, even what you just saw now, if I want to be honest with him, he accepts the honesty, doesn't take it personally, and moves on. He's given me like honest perspectives and feedback on situations that I shared with him and advice that I was seeking, knowing that, I'm not flattering her in any way in this. I'm sharing my honest opinion. I'm like, that's actually what I respect and honor about him, is that he is thoughtful in his delivery. He's never mean. He's easy because I know I can trust what he says. If he has an opinion, I trust that it's his honest opinion. He's not sugarcoating something. If he says, let's be friends, he's proven that his words and his actions are aligned. There's no confusing middle ground. So things can be really easy when people just show up as honest, like you said, honest and transparent.
And that's actually a conversation that we've had where I've been like, do you want to date? Do you want to whatever? And you said no, and I was like, okay, perfect. I'm also okay with just being friends. And that is me coming into it saying, if you wanted to explore dating, great. If not, I'm also open to investing in a friendship. And they're two different tracks, and I'm happy to go down either of them. I don't see it as a loss. I'm not forlorn at what could have been, because it's not a match, and I don't want to convince someone to like me or to appreciate the things that I have to offer romantically.
And plenty of other women do.
And plenty of other women do. Like I don't have a problem there. Not to sound grandiose or anything.
The guy does not have a problem with women. I just want to emphasize that. Like, again, it boggles my mind how the top talent agencies or modeling scouting agencies have not found you and been like, you are already naturally attracting the most gorgeous women in any town. Tell us your ways. We need to book them for like perfume commercials.
I do want to circle back to just a point that you made real quick, that one of the biggest things that I had to learn as a recovering know-it-all is that it's okay if other people are wrong. And I think that is the most necessary thing if you're going to have any relationship with anyone of any type. Allow the other person to be wrong. and to disagree, because that's just it. It's like
Yes.
you aren't going to change their mind. You're not losing anything if they don't agree with you.
Yeah.
That's fine. Anna and I do not agree on a lot of things, especially regarding dating, right? Or especially whether
like etiquette,
thinking that-
expectations, things like that.
and also whether or not I'm masculine, right? Because I am pretty masculine, but I also can see her perspective, and I appreciate having her perspective.
But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think.
But it doesn't matter.
Like, it doesn't,
because
like,
what matters is what I think about
Yes,
me.
yes.
And it has to come from within. You have to fix you before you can even consider the possibility of fixing anything else.
And I love that. That is a really good point, is that, well, one, you respect my boundaries. Like when you opened the idea of we could date, and I was like, nope, okay, he respected it, wasn't trying to change my opinion, just moved on. Okay, that was a boundary, door closed. Moving on the other direction, that is a door open. She wants friendship. So that's great. Like people who respect your boundaries. And then people who let people have their own perspectives. Going back to that other example with do you like art museums, that other individual did not, but he was trying to persuade me of why certain art was more whatever. He was trying to change my stance on art museums. At the end of the day, does it really matter? And I even said in that text exchange, I am very okay if you have a different preference. If you don't like art museums, very okay. I will enjoy art museums on my own, or go to art museums with people who enjoy art museums. I was just curious if that was something that you also enjoy, because I would have invited you along to an art museum that I wanted to check out. I am very okay with like people having different perspectives as long as the actions that they take do not affect my life. If someone has a perspective on what I should do with my body and it's a lawmaker, and then their perspective does affect my body personally, or whatever it might be, whatever laws they might enact, then I do care about what their perspectives are. And I do have to have a conversation with those people. But if it's just, hey, I like art and you don't, that's fine. Or I have this religious belief and you have that religious belief, that's okay. As long as you're not expecting me to go to your church or practice that form of religion, you do you.
Going back to the obligation thing, right? Like just because you have a feeling or an opinion or a thought or a belief, it doesn't obligate other people to agree with you and to do what you think is best.
Yeah.
Right? You have to just mind yourself, for the love of God. As a person who doesn't believe in God, I'm like, just pay attention to yourself and make sure you're showing up in the best way possible, and that you are being accountable for the things that you say, and you're being accountable for the things that you do.
Yeah.
And that you are honest with yourself and everyone else. And it's okay to make mistakes. People are fallible, right? But what matters is the follow through.
The accountability, that is huge. You recognize when you weren't as responsive for a number of weeks. I don't know what was going on, but I made myself available if you needed it to talk or whatever, but I also respected your space. But you were accountable. I remember you texted me something like, I haven't been the best of friend to you recently. So you acknowledged it. You were accountable for that stuff. I do appreciate friends that have the self-awareness of, hey, how am I treating someone else? Let's be accountable for what I'm doing, what my actions are. I think friendships and other forms of relationships don't work out when the other person just can't hold accountability for how they're showing up in a relationship or friendship, and they think it's the other person that needs to change.
I completely agree.
What's one key thing that you remind yourself of or want to take forward in your life as you're meeting more people?
That just because they don't want to fuck you doesn't mean other people don't.
That's a good one. That is so good. Let's see, for myself, you never know how valuable saying hello and having a short conversation with someone, how valuable that can be to your life if you close the door too soon on that person. Give people a chance to show you who they are, if there aren't any major red flags in the beginning, but give people a chance. Because had I not exchanged phone numbers with you and continued meeting up with you and stuff like that, I would not have discovered this wonderful friend that has added so much to my life so far. So I would just continue reminding myself, give people chances to be in your life.
Absolutely.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Join us in our next topic. We'll see what we come up with next time.
Love you.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Outmatched. Be sure to follow and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Leave us a positive review and share this episode with a friend who'd love it too. Check back soon for more episodes. And until then, make smart moves and play for the right match. Checkmate.